enjoying what you've put together here, mate. It's very pretty.
Thanks, mate. Well, people kept saying, like, you know, it's a bit boring, your office, and some fella very kindly sent us some prints. I can't remember your name now, sorry, mate, but we did plug it loads, Instagram, Facebook and all that. So, you know, you've had your free promotion there. We're going to put them up. We've still got a big wall here with nothing on it. But yeah, I thought I'd have a go. Thought I'd try and recreate the spirit of the old office, you know what I mean?
I don't think you can quite do that.
Well, no. I mean, we haven't got the smackheads wandering around outside for a start, and we also don't have to walk through a kung fu class to go home as well.
If you're late, yeah. Well, that's, you know, hey.
Onwards and upwards.
How far we've come. Oh, it's the Reds won yesterday. It's 12 unbeaten at home. It's been quite widely documented today, and I must admit that snuck up on me a bit. I mean, if I'd have thought about it, we haven't lost at home for a while, but considering Klopp said in his press conference after the game, didn't he, when he arrived, and what at the start of his reign, our home form was patchy at best, wasn't he? And it is something we've quietly managed to turn around.
I know, it's snuck up on me as well. I mean, I'm hosting the free podcast today, and so I was doing a bit of research last night, and I spotted that stat as well. And so I had to look, and the last defeat is actually Stoke. But obviously, like, we won on penalties. You know, it was a 1-0 defeat, but it still felt like we won.
Yeah.
And then before that, the defeat before that at Anfield is the Manx at home.
I see the one.
And we played well in that game, largely speaking. So I mean, I think it's massive home form. I've written about it before. Might write about it again. I think that's where the majority of fans are making the decisions about this team they're seeing in front of them, this manager, and you know, away games. You know, there's only 2,000-3,000 who go to away games just because that's the way it is, that's the way stadiums are. And so I sort of think, you know, a lot rides on being good at home. And like, you know, it's absolutely huge that you nail that. So it is interesting that, you know, Klopp seems to be nailing that down early on. Still with all the caveats as well, like, you know, he hasn't really bought any players of his own yet. He's only been here since October. You'd think he's going to have some money to spend in the summer, so it's really interesting. It bodes well, and you know, I think that's part of the reason why we're all relatively happy at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, it's certainly part of it. I think Klopp recognises that as well. He's someone who understands the emotions of football, and it's something that Neil's mentioned, that when you think about Martinez, I mean, Everton's home form's absolutely dreadful this year, and I think that's probably what's doing for them. But yeah, it's an interesting one, and that last home game on Wednesday, so hopefully we can go on a bit of a bang there, a bit of a weird one against Chelsea. But yeah, see how it goes. Another thing going on today, new kit launch. Is at 6:30. A couple of our lads are going down, so we'll be doing some tweets and Instagrams of the new kit. I mean, it's going to be red, but
I reckon it'll be red. Maybe a bit of white on it.
Who knows?
Probably have a live bird on it. What else do we reckon? Standard Chartered, New Balance.
So I mean, there's not going to be too many spice, but there's normally a few players there and things like that, and you might see something a bit interesting. So a couple of our lads are going. I think it's Sean and Andy are going down. So yeah, see what we can get there. So follow us on our social media later if you want to know what's going on at the kit launch. I mean, it might be nothing, but you know, we got invited, so that's only at the Pierhead.
Yeah,
we're right there now.
It's only there. It feels a shame not to walk over. It's another lovely day in Liverpool as well, hence the shorts and that. So Sean stood behind the camera there though with a coat on. I mean,
maybe he's not stopping.
Yeah, a bit worried about him, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one, but that's today. Also around in the news, Gerrard's done a Q&A with Galaxy fans. I don't know if you've seen it at all, but he
scored yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He come off the bench and scored. He won 4-2, I think. So yeah, scored, but he's fairly vocal about coming back to Liverpool. He was asked about it. Yeah, he has. But considering it was a Galaxy fans Q&A, you know, he wasn't really, you know, giving it all. Oh, we'll see what happens. He's basically said, you know, he doesn't want to put pressure on anyone and doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. But he expects that at the end of the season, he's finishing up. He's going to come back to Liverpool and expects to be working with the club in some sort of way.
Makes sense to me. I mean, I don't know what capacity it'll be, and maybe it'll be a bit sort of lower down the food chain than people might expect, because I mean, I imagine he's got to still work through his badges. I know he was doing that, but I'm not quite sure where he is on it. Yeah. But I mean, you look at sort of, you know, there's quite a few ex-players work with the academy, isn't there? You know, I think Rob Jones, Steve McManaman, I think Fowler might do a little bit every now and again. So it may be that that's where he starts. I mean, you know, one of the difficulties in the past, I think, with Steven Gerrard, especially when Rodgers was in charge, was that if he was given some kind of coaching role, he'd almost be a bigger figure than Rodgers is, or was. I think if you wanted to put him in the first team picture, you'd obviously have no problem with that with Klopp. I mean, he's an absolutely huge personality, he's won stuff, he's one of the best managers in the world, so you wouldn't have that problem. But where I would be surprised if he was thrown in is that Klopp's got a team already, that he's very adamant about them playing a huge part in everything he does. He's very adamant in them all coming to Liverpool. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be made up to see him involved at the club. I think it's one of those things that Liverpool haven't been the best at down the years in terms of, you know, having a legacy really and making the most of your ex-players and stuff. I still think John Barnes should be involved at the club somehow. You know, he's a great brain, he's a great player, he was a great player, he's a legend. Everyone loves John Barnes and he speaks a lot of sense, and I always wonder, is there not some capacity that John Barnes can be involved at Liverpool? You wrote a piece a good while back, but it's still a good piece and worth looking up, about, you know, someone like Kevin Keegan as well. Why can't he be involved?
Well, Kevin
at Liverpool?
Keegan's got, you know, experience throughout the game in every capacity in Europe as well, and it seems like a real asset. He's done little bits with him, but kind of not much. And it is up to the manager always and the people who are involved. But you know, I mean, for Gerrard, it doesn't even necessarily have to be coaching. I mean, that seems to make sense because of his footballing experience. But you know, even if you got him kind of working on transfers and things, he used to unofficially do that anyway, texting everyone.
Just thinking,
you know, give him a file of facts. And
well, I'm just thinking here, mate, as you're talking, here and here's going.
The big one. Just give him the big one.
Stevie for MD.
Send them out in there. Who knows? Okay. Someone at the a couple of lads actually at the right at the opposite ends of the career that Gerrard, but worth mentioning. First of all, congratulations to Harry Kane. He's just been announced in the England under-18 squad. He's one of the stars of the under-18s team that have done really well this year. He's in the England under-18 squad, so well into him. And also Sergi Canos, who gets a bit forgotten really. You know, we talk about which young players are going to get a chance next year. We talk about Ibe, Ojo, but Canos has had a really good year at Brentford. He's one of the ones who stayed on loan, but mostly because he was doing so well there and enjoying it so much. But they've just had their end of season awards, and he's won a goal of the season, which is a belter, and we'll tweet out today, and Community Player of the Year, which I don't understand as much. I don't know if that means he helps out in the soup kitchen.
Been doing like comes into training in the morning and does an afternoon in Oxford. I'm like,
so it helps the kit man. Yeah, that's all. I don't know what Community Player of the Year, but Sergi Canos is one. Player of the Year. I'm sorry, Goal of the Year. We know what that means.
Well, I like the general cut of his jib. He seems to be like a very positive fella. Every time you hear him speak, he speaks well. Yeah. You know, all their fans as well rave about him, don't they? Yeah. So be nice to get him back and back at Anfield and see if we can sort of get him involved around the periphery. Another one involved around the periphery. Ben Johnson's column's up now, mad as ever. But one of the things he's talking about in there, which I thought was interesting, I just wanted to ask you about it, is he's already really impressed with Ojo. Yeah. He just thinks that, he said, all right, you know, it might not be like perfect 90 minutes that he's turning in, he said, but he just shows little flashes. And his general conclusion was he just thinks he's got it. He's got it.
I really like him. I like his understanding of the game. I like when he drops deep and turns and brings people into play. He seems to have a lot to his game, like more than you feel like he should, if you know what I mean. You know, because you see, I mean, everyone still remembers his burst of pace and his assist for Sturridge, and you look at that and think, oh, he's an old-fashioned winger, he's going to want to beat his man, but there's a lot more to it than that. You fancy he could play 10 if he wanted to, if he had a bit more experience, and he just kind of floats around with the ball, and it all just seems very natural for him, as opposed to maybe some other players who kind of worry too much and are concerned. He doesn't seem to let anything bother him. It's like every game seems like an 11-a-side with his mates, and I really, really like him as well. I think there is something there. It might take a bit of time, and as you say, it might not be for 90 minutes, but you know, for the last 15 in a game, then you know, he certainly seems to have something to me, and you know, a bit of an eye for goal as well, I think. So yeah, excited about Ojo, and I think he's certainly one for next season.
I think he'll come up in some of the shows that we've got, as I mentioned before. The free podcast be getting recorded shortly and be out later this afternoon, and then all your usual shows this week, isn't it? Tuesday Review. Yeah, Coach Home out today as well. Do give that a listen if it's not one you normally listen to, just because it's a huge amount of fun. We speak to
a Leicester City fan, Pete Selby, who does a radio show called For Fox's Sake. You've got to be careful how you say that. He's also the matchday commentator at Leicester. We've been speaking to him all season, and he's just like having the absolute time of his life. He's a lovely fella, and I've made up for him. But we spoke to him yesterday about his hangover and just about the whole day, and he was just saying how mad it was. When you've got like opera singers on the pitch and stuff, and he's like, well, it's been mad all season, so why not?
Yeah.
And torrential rain at one point and the sunshine the next. But just absolutely great fun listening to someone who's been through the year that he has, especially someone who's so close to the club and remembers the dark times and things like that. So he's great. We've got a guy from Burnley who obviously won the championship. So that's really interesting speaking to him about what they're going to do next. And Daniel Gray, who's a writer and a Middlesbrough fan, and they secured promotion at the weekend as well. After I think it's 7 years they've been out the Premier League now. It doesn't seem that long, but just a brilliant show. Just speaking to people absolutely buzzing off the footballers. Is a nice thing to do. So Coach Holmes should be out actually now. So kind of get on that. And if you don't normally listen to it, but yeah, loads throughout the week.
And you spoke to Jerzy Dudek as well.
We did, yeah. Got to mention that. Interviewed Jerzy Dudek Sunday morning. Went down to the club shop. Lovely fella, taller than you think as well. You don't think he was like a big keeper, I suppose, but he was towering over me and Neil, lovely fella. I had loads of interesting stuff to say about not just his career. We asked him about the Istanbul stuff and stuff like that, as you imagine, and his big games, but just he was really interested on goalkeeping in general and what it means to keep for Liverpool and what's important and things like that. So yeah, really good interview, and that's available for subscribers as well on our website.
Yeah, get on it all, as they say, and please do have a try of Tour Player, subscribe, and as ever, let us know what you think, and let us know what you think about these videos as well. Are they worth doing? We want feedback. We want regular feedback. We want to be told all the time that we're great.
We're very needy. Alright, nice one. We'll be back the same time tomorrow, probably be in Gareth again, so nice one.
Up the lads.